Welcome back. Quick recap from prompt engineering and being specific. You learned to say the task plainly, define the input, and name what a good answer should look like. In building with the Claude API, that habit becomes API fluency for building useful applications with anthropic models and preparing for the Claude Certified Architect exam prerequisite. If this Claude API walkthrough is helping, like and subscribe so the next lesson is easy to find when you come back. Now the module goal. Make prompts easier for Claude to parse when your Claude API request carries real content. We will first put boundaries around context with XML tags. Then we will add examples so Claude sees the pattern. Finally, we will work through an exercise that uses report.html, output.html, and evaluator reasoning to improve a weak prompt into a much stronger one. That sequence keeps the lesson focused on one API behavior instead of 3 disconnected topics. Start with the simplest reason XML tags help. If you paste 20 pages of sales records into one prompt, the content can blur together. Claude may not know which pieces belong to the records, which lines are instructions, and which details are constraints. Clear boundaries give the request a map. The tags do not need to be fancy. They simply tell Claude that this section is one thing, and that section is another. Here is the move in miniature. Instead of saying analyze this content and then dropping a pile of records underneath, wrap that material in a descriptive tag. A name like sales_records tells Claude the section is not just data. It is sales record content with a job in the prompt. A plain data tag is totally fine when the content is generic, but a descriptive name usually gives Claude more signal. The tag is small, but the meaning it carries can change the whole request. The same idea becomes more important when the request mixes materials. If you ask Claude to debug code using provided documentation, you want the code and docs to stay separate. Use my_code around the code and docs around the reference material. The example imports pipeline and data source, defines process_data with input_file and output_file, and calls data source.from_CSV. Claude sees the roles instead of treating the whole prompt as one undifferentiated block. That separation matters when debugging depends on applying the right rule to the right code. XML tags do not have to come from an official list. You are allowed to create names that match your content. If the prompt includes athlete details, athlete_information is more helpful than data. If the prompt includes sales records, sales_records is more helpful than content. The rule is practical. Choose the name that tells Claude what role the wrapped material plays in the request. In the notebook, the athlete prompt makes the value of structure visible. The fields are height, weight, goal, and restrictions, loaded from dataset.json. Without the wrapper, those lines are just a list. With athlete_information, Claude can treat them as one coherent profile. The notebook Chrome still has run all, clear all outputs, Jupyter variables, and the Python 3.12 environment, but the teaching point is the prompt shape inside the cell. This is why notebook prompts should make the data shape visible before the model responds. The XML rule is simple. Use tags when your prompt includes large context, mixed content, or anything where extra clarity matters. You are not adding decoration. You are giving Claude a layout. That layout helps the model decide which section contains the facts, which section contains the instructions, and which section contains constraints. Once the boundaries are clear, examples can teach the pattern you want Claude to follow. Carry that rule forward whenever a prompt feels crowded or easy to misread. Providing examples is one of the most useful prompt engineering techniques you will use. Tags help Claude understand where content belongs. Examples help Claude understand what kind of answer belongs on the other side. A one-shot prompt gives one example. A multi-shot prompt gives several examples. Both techniques work because the example turns an abstract instruction into a concrete pattern Claude can imitate. Consider sentiment analysis. The source prompt wraps the ambiguous tweet in input_tweet yeah, sure, That was the best movie I've seen since Plan 9 from Outer Space. But Claude still needs the intended judgment. It then shows sample underscore input, great game tonight, slash sample underscore input, with ideal underscore output, positive slash ideal underscore output. That worked example gives the rule a concrete shape, so Claude has a better chance of handling the next strange tweet the same way. Examples are especially useful when the words and the intended judgment point in different directions. A strong example is not only an input and an answer. It usually needs structure. Use sample underscore input for the example input and ideal underscore output for the answer you want Claude to imitate. Then add a sentence explaining why the output is good. That extra reasoning matters because it tells Claude whether the example is about tone, format, edge cases, or some other hidden judgment. That makes the example teach both the answer and the reason behind the answer. Examples are worth the extra tokens when instructions alone leave room for interpretation. Add them for corner cases, complex output formats, style and tone, or criteria that require judgment. If the output format is a specific JSON structure, show it. If the writing style matters, show it. If one input is easy to misread, show the intended interpretation instead of hoping the model infers it. One-shot prompting means you provide a single example to establish the pattern. Multi-shot prompting means you provide multiple examples to cover different scenarios. Use one-shot when the task is simple and the format is obvious after one demonstration. Use multi-shot when the inputs vary, the edge cases matter, or the output style has several different modes. More examples are useful, but they also spend context. The right count is the smallest set that still covers the real variation. Good examples often come from evaluation runs. Open the prompt evaluation report in output.html and look for the highest scoring responses. A row around 7.96 can still teach you something, but the best candidates are the answers with the clearest reasoning and the strongest score. The report explains why the answer was good or weak, and that explanation helps you turn the winner into a future ideal output. That makes evaluation reports a library of future teaching material, not just a scoreboard. The meal plan example shows why context matters. The ideal output is not just a block of food suggestions. It includes morning snack, afternoon snack, evening snack, a calorie target, a macronutrient breakdown, and a clear meal plan. The prompt should explain that this example is good because it is organized, practical, and aligned with the athlete's goal and restrictions. That reasoning tells Claude what quality means. Claude can then imitate the structure instead of only copying a surface phrase. The best practice is to make examples explicit. Say, here is an example input with an ideal response. Use XML tags so Claude can separate the sample input from the ideal output. Then explain why the output is good. That final reasoning sentence is easy to skip, but it often makes the example more useful because it turns a copied answer into a clear teaching signal. When the example is labeled this way, the prompt becomes easier to audit later. The exercise pulls the module together. The notebook is 003_exercise.ipimp, and it starts by creating prompt evaluator with max_concurrent_task set to 2. Then evaluator.generate_dataset uses task_description, prompt_inputs_spec, output_file set to dataset.json, and number_cases set to 4. Your job is to improve the prompt using that concrete generated dataset. The contract is narrow. The only input is a content property containing one paragraph of article text. The answer should be a JSON array of strings. If the passage is about solar panels, the array should include solar panels and any other topics mentioned in the content. No explanation belongs outside the array. That is the target we will use to judge whether the prompt is improving. A narrow contract also makes failure easier to diagnose when the report comes back. The starter prompt is intentionally weak. What topics are in here? Followed by the content variable. It does not say JSON array of strings. It does not forbid extra commentary. After you run all, the evaluator uses dataset.json and writes report.html and output.html. The default result starts around 2.8, and the reasoning explains that the prompt is not producing the strict format the criteria require. That gap gives us a clear reason to edit the prompt instead of guessing. The report is not just a grade. It is the feedback loop. Open output.html, scan the answers, and read the reasoning beside the poor score. The common problem is that the model is not returning a JSON array of strings. So the next edit should be simple and direct. Tell Claude exactly what to extract, exactly what text it should use, and exactly what format to return. The first improvement is almost boring, which is why it works. The prompt now says, extract key topics mentioned from a passage of text from a scholarly journal into a JSON array of strings. That one sentence tells Claude the task, the source material, and the output shape. After rerunning evaluator run_evaluation with dataset.json, the average score jumps to 9.5 because the response finally matches the criteria. This is the fastest kind of improvement because it removes ambiguity at the top. The direct prompt is strong, but we can still add structure. Wrap the interpolated content in text and /text. The name text makes sense because the first line says the model is working with a passage of text. Now Claude can separate the instruction from prompt_inputs content. This is the same XML habit from earlier, applied to the exercise instead of the meal plan prompt. The wrapper is not decoration. It protects the passage from blending into the instruction. Next, add a short process. Tell Claude to closely examine the text, identify the topics mentioned, add each topic to the array, and respond only with the JSON array. The steps are not meant to be verbose. They make the criteria explicit. The evaluator wants the strings to contain only topics, without commentary, so the final instruction should say that the answer is the array and nothing else. The steps also make the grading criteria readable to a future maintainer. At this point, an example is optional. If the direct prompt, XML wrapper, and steps already hold the score near 9.5, you may keep the prompt compact. If the report still shows format confusion, add a one-shot example of a passage and topic array. If the article passages vary widely, try multi-shot examples. Then rerun the evaluation and let the score decide whether the extra context helped. The evaluation should always decide whether the extra example earns its space. The finished habit is a prompt contract. Start with the task. Wrap the context in XML tags so Claude knows what material to use. Add examples when the output requires judgment, style, or a tricky edge case. Then name the output format and restrictions. In the Claude API, that contract is what turns a prompt from a hopeful instruction into something you can evaluate, revise, and use inside an application. That agreement is what your application can rely on when inputs change. Verification is the last step. Run all in the notebook, then look at evaluator.run_evaluation. It uses dataset.json, applies the extra criteria, grades the test cases, and reports average score, 9.5 when the prompt is doing the right thing. That number is not magic, but it is useful evidence. It tells you the direct instruction, XML wrapper, and response restrictions are working together. Verification closes the loop between prompt design and actual Claude API behavior. Here is the rubric. If Claude mixes up pieces of context, add XML tags. If Claude understands the task but misses the pattern, add examples. If you do not know what is wrong, use the evaluation report and read the reasoning. If the prompt itself is vague, make the instructions simple and direct before adding anything else. The best prompts usually combine these moves in that order. Use the symptom first, then choose the smallest technique that fixes it. This matters beyond the notebook. Real Claude API applications depend on reliable inputs, reliable outputs, and reliable iteration. XML tags protect the input. Examples teach the output pattern. Evaluation reports make the next edit evidence-based. That combination is practical prerequisite practice for the Claude Certified Architect exam, because architecture decisions later depend on knowing how prompts behave when they meet real application data. That is the bridge from course exercises to dependable production prompt behavior. Put the workflow in your head this way. Specify, structure, demonstrate, evaluate, revise. Specify the task. Structure the context. Demonstrate the desired pattern with examples when needed. Evaluate the output with reports and scoring. Then revise the prompt based on what you learn. That sequence keeps prompt engineering grounded in application behavior instead of personal taste. The workflow is repeatable because every step leaves evidence for the next one. Next, we introduce tool use and tool functions. The prompt skills from this module still matter because tools also need clear instructions, clear input boundaries, and reliable output expectations. But the next section adds a new layer. Claude can choose a tool, supply arguments, and let your application handle the actual work. That is where structured prompts start becoming structured workflows. Keep the same discipline as the course shifts from prompt text to callable tools.